Video as I've been seeing different posts made by people that feels anxiety and fear right now. Okay, and if you feel like this strong um, need to procrastinate, I want to do this video while I'm doing the kitchen. Okay, I'm gonna be cleaning in the kitchen, so enjoy the ASMR sounds while I'm cleaning. I done made me some tea here. Okay, as y'all see with my mug here. So I'm gonna have me some tea. So feel free to listen to the sounds. If you came for the sounds, that's fine. But someone in my email mentioned that the social world online had gave them anxiety, and it was giving me bad anxiety. And this is on anywhere online. I was getting anxiety, and I noticed an unexplainable fear for no reason, and I couldn't put my finger on it. So I'm gonna talk to y'all what I've been doing to get through that. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some sugar in my tea here. Now, one of the things I found out that creates an unnecessary fear and anxiety is when you're mixing um, when you're mixing your fruit with your land animal meat. So you may need to stop eating land animal meat if you're a carnivore. Okay, it could be it's the meat is not as clean as you think it is, or it's too toxic. The animals are in low vibration, so you may want to switch to plant based for a while. I find that when I have a few days a week where I'm just eating um, eggs and toast and grains and seeds and fruit, it seems like all of a sudden I'm just in a more peaceful energy. So you may want to just stop eating land animal meat for a while and see how that makes you feel emotionally. I also realize that some of us, our body is used to having certain levels of sugar. And when those sugar levels are too low, too long, it does create anxiety and even fear. So you may want to have 2, 3 cups of tea a day with some sugar in it. I don't recommend honey because honey, it can actually raise your insulin levels a lot more than actual sugar, believe it or not. So you can control the amount if you use actual sugar like brown sugar as well. So you may want to consider that maybe your sugar levels are just too low and got you messing with your spirit. So um, this is why kids, they always seem like they're in high spirits. They really don't deal with fear and anxiety because they're monitoring they're just naturally, intuitively monitoring their sugar levels. So they just say don't have something sweet. So you might want to buy a variety of sweet fruits and nibble on them through your day, because most of the time there's something that needs to be removed or replaced with something sweeter and nicer in your life. So consider the fact that maybe you don't have enough sweetness in your life. Maybe that's what it is. And it's affecting your happy hormones, and the happy hormones are so messed up, so low, this it's starting to throw you into negative thinking and anxiety and fear. So you may want to keep sweet fruit in your ice box. If you don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of money on fruit, then just have tea through your day and just put some sugar in it. You can get allulose plant-based sugar as well, which is keto friendly. So you can put the allulose plant-based sugar in your tea. I find tea to be very comforting for anxiety and fear. Tea is still considered, like, spiritually, it's still earth energy. So it does ground you. It grounds your energy. So when you add allulose plant-based sugar to it, you not only get grounded by the tea, but you get sweeter by the tea. So you may want to consider having a tea life. Now, we are glamorizing being alone, but we weren't meant to be alone. So you may want to try to trust at least one person and, share lunch date dates. Like go to somebody's house, you cook dinner. They go to your house, you cook lunch. What this is going to do is this is going to kind of give you some like hope in humanity. And that's going to keep you from having anxiety and fear. Often, fear and anxiety is triggered by loss of faith in humanity, in the world. It could be that the world's just gotten so toxic. The toxicity is so in your face that your faith is shaken. So, um, try to go make it a goal to make a friend. Okay. Um, like if you have someone that you can talk to real comfortably, easy to talk to, then call that person. I find that sometimes not looking for the solution for your answer for your anxiety and fear actually clears it out. The energy that's causing it just it's not fad. Okay, because when you go looking for solutions sometimes for anxiety and fear, you start to think of what may happen that may go wrong if you use the solution. See what I'm saying? You may circle back to negative thinking. So with this next advice, I recommend having a life where you're not really chasing solutions. You're not. You're kind of just going on faith. You're just doing what you enjoy and let the chips fall where they may. You're not really trying to have a certain result. You're not really trying to get anything out of it. You're just kind of just going with the flow. You're not expecting a perfect date. You don't even care about that. You're just going for the experience. You're just doing something for the experience. I find that that gets rid of anxiety and fear. When I started setting goals for my writing, the fear started to creep in. Whenever I have no goal for it, and I just say, "Oh, I'm just doing it because this is something I enjoy, it's fun." Next thing you know, no fear. Not everything was meant to be turned into a job and to be seen as work. But this society now is telling us that everything has to have a goal, a big reason why you're doing it. It has to be cheese at the end. So most of what we're doing in our subconsciousness is seeing it as work. And deep down in our mind, it sees it as work. Like just going on a date is work. Just cooking is work. Just being is work. Eliminating having any reason why you're doing it. Like literally just do it because it feels good. So I feel like we need a feel good list. I'm just doing this because it feels good. I like the way it feels. I that's it. It's not about success, fame, or achievement. I just like the way it feels. We have to get back to that. But it's hard when you're on social media and you're seeing everybody's results. You're seeing their achievements. Whether it's fake or false, it's still posted as achievements. So you start to feel like, well, if I don't do what I'm doing for achievements, then I'm behind. If you are not in the game, then you can't be behind. Okay? Just drop out all the games. Just get out of all the games. Just get out of them. Like, I'm not in the weight loss game anymore. you know, I'm just I'm just eating for survival. I'm eating for health. I'm eating so that I can, I don't drop dead. That's it. I'm eating so I can be strong, but not because I I just want to be leaner because I want people to like me. I'm not doing anything to be liked. I know that's hard because it's like we've been trained over the last 10 years to do things that will lead to likeness. But I find that it was a trap. Okay? Like I can remember it starting to happen in early 2000. that it was like people said, "Oh, I'm not going to the club anymore because you know I feel like I don't always get someone numbers, and I don't never get numbers." And it was like, okay, now we go to the club for numbers. We don't go to the club just because to dance and hear music. But see what I'm saying? Something happened when we got these cell phones in the early 2000s when everybody could get Wi-Fi and all that. Now it's like everybody need to chase something, and all it's doing is causing stress. So for me, I feel like sometimes you got to just take a break from this technology time period. You just got to really go off the grid, not fake off the grid. Like really just live like there is no cell phones. Um, and trust your instincts. Trust that you'll find your way. I think that we're just too codependent on technology now, and so when that isn't really serving us, or it's or the technology isn't as abundant for the day or whatever, or it's real toxic, then we feel anxiety and worry. Um, there's nothing wrong with saying, I just want a simple life, a 9 to 5 job, to be able to just afford to take care of myself, and that's it. I notice, to be honest, that people who are in that energy, they're looking pretty good. They seem like they're happier. I don't see and I don't sense a lot of happy people who walked off their job during the 9 to 5 job exodus. I'm not picking up happy energy. I'm picking up fake happiness. Um, the grass isn't always greener. Sometimes it's an illusion to think that because you got more time in your day and just to use the internet, that you'll be happier. That's not always true, because really we're not even supposed to be this aware of time. We're really supposed to be just going about our day, taking care of business, doing stuff we enjoy, and not even thinking about time. Just letting the sky tell us when it's time to go to bed or time to shut things down. Letting our intuition and the feel of the day tell us when it's time to slow down. But technology is forcing us to stay attached to the ticking talk time, where we're being frequently programmed with our frequency to just show up on technology at this time, do this at that time or this time. And what it's going, it's not even serving our individual circadian clocks. See what I'm saying? Like, if if you've been taught by the internet frequency and these apps to get online and talk at 10 a.m. and surf at 10 a.m., yet your circadian clock time is not 10 a.m., then you know what's going to happen. You're going to feel like you was in a toxic situation. After you're done, you're going to feel drained. You're not going to have any feel good energy, because you were stepping in an energy that wasn't present to you at the time. So it would be like you would be in air energy, even though at that moment you really were supposed to be in water energy. Okay? But technology got you mentally programmed to show up at that time with no respect for your sleep cycles. See? So, staying true to your own personal circadian clock rhythm, not trying to force it to match the monks or the gurus, not getting up 5 a.m. because they say, not not doing at the time they say, regardless of your circadian clock. When you do that, you're headed right towards burnout and fear and anxiety. You're going to hit that wall eventually. Hi, everybody. For example, a lot of people have been trained to not even watch a video unless they can see someone. Or unless they can, look at somebody. I find that to be scary because we're all supposed to be connecting to something that we feel intuitively we're supposed to be connected to. But this world is becoming so materialistic in image that people are missing out on health, spiritual health. Imagine how many people who are going to miss out on what I'm saying in this video, all because I wasn't on video for them to click to watch. Okay? So what the next thing I'm going to say is choose things because it's good for you, not because you're following a script. Okay? Ask yourself before you do anything, am I doing this because this is what everybody do? Am I going about this because this is how everybody go about it? Did I click on this video because people click on videos that they can see people? Or did I click on the video because I felt an intuitive connection to it? See, excuse me, what this is doing, it's you not surrendering the power to the internet or whatever app you're using. This controlling your energy. You're taking back the power. Okay, you're living more intuitively. You're breaking any mental program that's causing you to show up and just waste your energy. You clicking on a video all because you like what you see in the video on the video screen. See, that's still wasting your energy. Wasting energy leads to fear and anxiety. Okay? And guess what's going to happen when you're just doing what 99% of the people are doing? When you do that, it's hard to take care of things that you got to take care of, like cleaning, self-care. You'll get anxiety and fear just doing that. And you won't even be able to explain it. You'll say, I don't have self-hate, so why am I having a hard time taking care of myself suddenly? You surrender little bites of your power through letting something control your circadian rhythm energy. I was doing that with my family. I would clean and cook when they wanted me to. I would, rush in, and no matter if I was in a different energy. Then when I would go to sit down and do stuff I need to do for me, I would be afraid. All of a sudden, I'm biting my nails. You guys, don't tear down my house with this running. Y'all hear my cats? Don't do that. Hold on, y'all. Ozzy, don't zoom up on that mantelpiece like that again. But yeah, you may want to look at whether you're caught in a energy draining cycle. It could be the same problems with the same people. You logging on the internet for no good reason. Okay? You going fast for no good reason. Nobody has to go fast in doing anything unless they're running for their life. Okay? Unless there's a baby being delivered and it's your baby, or you're running for your life, no one has to go fast. So with that being said, slow down and get yourself a healthier rhythm that doesn't lead to anxiety. Fast always leads to anxiety. Moving fast says that you're not living in the present. It says that you're living in the future. Okay? There's a famous quote to say, anxiety is a sign that you're living in the future, that you're not living in the present. Depression mean you're living in the past. Fear can also mean you're living in the future. Anxiety and fear could be you're living in the future. Depression and anxiety can mean you're living in the past. So, slow down. If you're going fast, right behind fast energy is anxiety and fear. And it's also lack. You may be in a lack energy. You may be thinking, your subconsciousness may have a script that says, you're going to miss out. And then if you, go against that and you say, no, I'm not, I'm going to slow down. Okay? Then what will happen is, you'll notice that you're kind of momentarily in a war with yourself, and that's good. You're cleaning up your subconsciousness. And eventually, if you just maintain a comfortable speed of when you're doing things, eventually you will win over your subconsciousness. See, the speed and the speed of you using your energy also dictates what emotion will flood your subconsciousness and dominate it. Okay? So when you're going fast, your mind remembers why the last time you went fast. Okay? Your mind will pull up the things that you said that made you go fast. And if those things is the things you said is in lack mindset or negative thinking or fear, then those thoughts become strong again because you're going fast again. And then more vibrational versions of them get into your subconsciousness. And before you know it, you have crippling anxiety and fear, like John Candy. Okay? He had that. And it was because he did not allow himself to have days where he just didn't do nothing. He just said, no, I'm going slow. I'm not rushing in. I'm not. He didn't know how to not rush in. His cortisol was jacked up. He was eating so much food because of how he was refusing to rest. So, what the next thing is, resting. Do mental clearing exercises where all you're doing is just trying to get your mind empty. Okay? If you've been dealing with crippling fear and anxiety, you're better off having a clean slate. If you've been fighting fear and anxiety over and over and over and over again, cycles of it returning for like years, or you seem to get it real easy, because it seems like it's like a catchy energy parasite now. If you keep getting it, then you may need to just do mind dumping. Okay? You may need to do more journaling. You may need to get your confessions or what you have to say on paper, just to get that mind empty. I have spiritual exercises I do to empty my mind. Now, emptying your mind is not going to empty the stuff that you mastered. It's not going to get rid of your skills. The mind will never let you release something that has always worked for you. The subconsciousness is going to hold on to that. Okay? The mental fruits of your labor, it's never going to let it go. If anything, you're going to become more aware of those skills, and you'll find it easier to use them. Those mental fruits that was abundant. They'll come out more in your stream of consciousness, creative energy. Now, one way to tell if you're dealing with fear and anxiety, and it's been going on too long, is if you have crippling creative energy. You just can't seem to take even little one tiny step to be creative. Like you can't even write one word. You can't even do one paint stroke. Okay, I find that to be a spiritual mental emergency. And there may need to be a mass purge that needs to be done. You may have to have someone else do it for you. Someone come in. You may have to hire a purge team because below your consciousness, you're just really crippled with fear and anxiety, and you may not even know. You may be in denial. Your negative thoughts may become facts to you, have become facts. They may have been, you may believe your own lies with these negative thoughts. They're not true, but you have convinced yourself that they're true. So you just cannot take action to purge so that you can, have creative, take one step to have, creative energy. Creativity keeps you as a champion against fear and anxiety. It keeps you winning against it. The longer you go without creative energy, the likely that you will keep on losing against it. So in order to get to that point where you're like, oh, I'm still a finalist and champion with beating fear and anxiety in this world, this spiritual parasite, at least I'm keeping it quiet. At least I got it in a prison in my mind and it's not bothering me. But you can't get to that point sometime until there's a mass purge. And you've been so crippled spiritually, you just can't. You're just not the one that can do it. Okay. So consider getting you a team. Like get your kids involved. Tell them that what you're doing is what they're doing to help you is going to lead to you to find it easier to live your life in peace, to be peaceful within, so that you can get things done and take action in your day. Let them know that that's why you need their help. Just keep it real, I remember when I was in the best shape of my life again, and I hired a full staff for this house. I had people shampooing, washing, cleaning, moving stuff in, moving stuff out, purging, whatever. I did a little bit, but I didn't do much. And what I was doing was preparing me for the next chapter, the shift that I was in. And I would go in this shift without burnout and anxiety and fear. This is why several celebrities often create more than us. They have people to keep things clear for them. They don't have so much baggage that they're doing by themselves. So you may need to spend a couple dollars, get the nephews and nieces and say everybody can have pizza, everybody can have $10, $15 in their pocket. Just help out with this mass purge and cleaning. For my sanity, tell them, for the sake of your auntie's sanity, can you come through? You would be amazed how compassionate people are. We think people aren't compassionate, but there's a lot of people out here that have compassion for what you're going through. You just got to be willing to just keep it real. A lot of people are not keeping it real. They're faking like they're not dealing with fear and anxiety. They're faking like they're unbeatable. Like they don't never go down. And it's sad, okay? I don't know why we're in a society now where so many people are afraid of judgment of other people. Like another person that's going to die like them. They're scared of what they have to say. Yet, None of us is ever going to go through our life without a crisis. Okay? Some of the richest people had crises. You're just not, it's just, you just can't avoid it. Dark and light is in everyone's life, no matter how much money, no matter how fine your partner is, no matter how much your job pays you. It's coming. The dark is coming. It's going to come back. So don't be ashamed. Keep that in your mind when you feel like someone's judging you because you say, you know what? I'm not having a good day today. When someone say, how you doing? Say, not good. You know, one day just keep it real. You know, you be the one that don't be fake. Not good, stressful, it's hard, and my anxiety is off the roof, and I just can't wait to see my therapist this weekend. Um, you know, you think that that's going to work against you. It's not. You're going to be reminding them probably how fake they've been. Okay? I recently told somebody in my family, I said, I thought I could deal with what I went through with losing my parents and my brother like that. But, no. I said, I got to talk to somebody. Okay, I have to talk to somebody. And I told them, I'm sick and tired of fighting against my thyroid problem. Okay, my family have genetic problems with their throats. It's just all through the family, and I'm sick of the throat problems. My daughter has throat problems. My nephew has throat problems. My sister, she regularly gets throat problems, coughing, and I keep on getting throat problems. And my grandmother literally died of throat cancer, and now I'm having problems with my throat, with my thyroid, and nodules there that they said they one day I need to get removed. But the problem is, it's affecting my diet. I'm a mindful eater, but this thyroid is fighting me. So I'm pretty much sick of it. So I told my family this week. I said, I'm going to go get me some help at the doctor and tell them I'm not going to sit here and keep fighting against this thyroid stuff. You know? I can't take it. Craving for no damn reason. So, and that creates anxiety. When you know that you have the mind and the power and the will to be smart, and your body, your health problem is getting in the way, that will literally mess with you emotionally. Okay? It sucks to be like, oh, I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to do, everything, but this body is working against me. It's like working a toxic 9-to-5 job. Like, I'm doing all the work on a 9-to-5 job, but this manager keeps on being toxic. So that can create anxiety where you're like, what if I don't achieve my goals tomorrow because my body's working against me? What if I get fired because my manager is toxic? See, that type of stuff? No, y'all. I know some of y'all can relate to what I'm saying. I'm gonna give y'all something to see in a minute on video. For those of you who have been patient listening to this video, thank you. Another thing is, don't do past your energy ability. If you're pushing through, it's probably time to quit. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Okay? If you're doing dishes, the reason why the Creator lets you know that you're pushing through is so that you can learn when you're not respecting your own energy, when it's time possibly for someone else to pick up the load. Or it's time for let the Creator do the rest of the work. That was done energetically based upon what you did physically. So sometimes you just be like, it's time to stop. I'm pushing through. I can sense I'm starting to push through. And it doesn't matter what judgment or what somebody say. It's probably their turn to do the rest, or the creator says, I've done enough. My energy and my intuition said I did enough. So it doesn't matter what anyone say. Okay? Here's another thing I realized. If you're not at peace when you're doing it, like when you're trying to finish doing things, then you're still pushing through. Okay? And you may be like, oh, what, the fear is triggered. Oh, what I did, was it good enough? Did I do enough or whatever? You did what needed to be done. How about that? How about that? Why isn't that good enough anymore? Doing what needed to be done. What needs to be done is showering, washing your teeth, keeping your hair neat. I didn't say styled and real cute. Neat. Looking neat. Acting neat. Living neat. Not everybody has the privilege to live in a spotless, dust-free home, or sand-free home. But it can still be neat. You can still be neat. Relationships can still be neat. We can disagree, but we can still be neat. Order. So maybe that's the problem. Something hasn't been neat for a long time. People don't see neatness as money worthy. People don't see that. A lot of people don't see that being neat is a wealth person's mindset, but it is. It can give you great inner peace. Even though it's not bringing you any money and there's no one there to clap, it will still bring you inner peace. And this is what writers know. When we sit down and we just clean up some work, 1,000 words, clean today, we still consider that writing 1,000 words. We say, well, I made something neat. I was able to get some order to some chaos. So even though nobody knows what I did, energetically, I am of service in society. Energetically, I've proved my value to society. When I go around people going to feel this neat energy. People going to feel that I'm someone that deals with chaos and gets rid of it. Not bring it and act like I didn't bring it. Hi, everybody. We got some people in here. Hi, Anthony. Here's another thing. There could be a certain energy element that you're not using enough. You're starving yourself of. For me, it's being the quietest one in the group. Not always being the person that's trying to save everybody. Like sometimes just being quiet and letting everybody get their karma. That's something that I'm learning. Sending people to resources and not necessarily being their fighting machine. Not being their robot fighting for them. But like, tell them to go here to get the help. Just send them some help. Like if a friend say, I'm being bullied or whatever, say, well, maybe you need to take up karate and self-defense classes. Let me get some numbers for you. Maybe say that than saying, oh, I got your back. I'm going to protect you or whatever. Like not always rushing to sign up to do, to use that fire energy. Sometimes you have a certain energy, elemental energy that you need to be stingier with. I know that's wow. You might have been too generous with a certain elemental energy. Now here's another thing I've realized. It has to do with stuff around the house. Um, if you do stuff in your home and it's because you're trying to keep the peace, it's not going to work. You have to do stuff in your home because you know it is what you're supposed to do. It's what's good for you. It's healthy. So, like, take other people out of the story. Okay? The leading character says, I'm doing this because it's what I'm supposed to do. It's my assignment. It's not because it's going to please you. It's not because it's going to please the understudy or the supporting character. I really don't care if it pleases them. I'm doing it because it pleases me. Because I am in charge of this show. And this show is a representation of me. So I have to be the first to set an example. And that's how you have to think. Okay? Another thing is, you have all the time in the world to love you. You're not late for nothing when you're loving yourself. Okay? You're not going to be punished by some energy forces because you took 9 hours of self-care. You're not. If anything, you'll be rewarded. People are not doing the amount of self-care that they want you to think they're doing. You will be amazed how people are spending 4 hours a day just on the internet. And that's in the first half of their day, and they're right back on it in the afternoon. They're getting on it at work. They're getting on it at lunchtime. They're on it while they're driving in their car. Just, micro-dosing their self-care, taking little shots of self-care. But if you say, I can do self-care for 7 hours straight, I'm not late for nothing. Okay? I'm going to show up for work. When I get off of work, unless I got kids or somebody I have to take care of, all this time after work can just be on self-care. I don't have to show up for nobody. If I say I only want to see somebody once a week, fine. My self-care is first priority. You know who I think it has an obsession with self-care, and it's kind of low-key about it, but I admire that about her. Nicki Minaj. When she pulled out that random Q-tip, I'm like, this girl is walking around with a Q-tip in that little purse. So even though she was carrying a little medium-sized purse, she literally was making sure she had important essential needs in that purse. So that goes to show, while there's women worried about makeup and lipstick and face powder and stuff, Nicki Minaj, she got, probably chapstick for her lips, Q-tips, Tylenol. She got her essential needs in that little purse. When she was on the one singing contest and she pulled that random Q-tip out to Mariah Carey, that video went viral. But it just goes to show, just goes to show the difference between what's in some people's purses who are protecting themselves from fear and anxiety, and with people who are having fear of anxiety, what's in their purse. So maybe consider what's in your bag. If you're a man, what's in your bag? Like, do you love yourself so much that you're taking your bathroom on the road? If you're not, okay, then what is your defenses against spiritual attacks? How are you dealing with it? If you're being spiritually attacked out here, do you have some lavender to spray on your face? Do you have some CBD in your purse? You never know when something's going to attack your peace. So I think that we need to have peace protection bags, peace protection care bags. You know, like they give the homeless people, they give care bags. We need our own. And we need to carry this bag through our day, room to room, room to room. Right when you feel like fear coming, you could just be like, let me go get this out my bag and deal with it. I had a little moment about an hour ago, and I said, "Woo!" and I ran and got my CBD and hit it. My daughter has a tote bag, and she says my whole life is in the bag, and she takes this tote bag everywhere. And I noticed she has like all um everything she needs for everything she might go through physically and emotionally. And I looked at her bag. I said, you know what? I don't have a tote bag. That like I can't always be at home. I'm going to be in other people's home. What if I go through something mentally and spiritually? What then? This is a deep conversation. Our home is primarily, believe it or not, the indoor home is supposed to be like a tent. We're supposed to treat it accordingly. Now, I know we say, well, we can't wash up outside, but you still have to treat it as if it's still the tent. So basically, you would have, your station for your self-care. But if you're traveling all around your home, in your house, that's no different than traveling all around the woods. You have to treat it the same, because you can't travel all around your tent if you were living in the woods. So if you're traveling all around your home, 9 times out of 10, you're traveling. It's still the energy of traveling outdoors, traveling in the woods, which means you have to be carrying your self-care around in your house. Like, you can't say, oh, I go to the bathroom for self-care. The self-care has to be on you in every single room. You never know when the demonic energy is going to start to irritate you or bother you. This is the real talk, y'all. I've been in situations where it was like, this is stressing me out, giving me anxiety, and it was like, damn, I forgot my CBD. Dang, I don't have my lavender. Dang, I don't have I forgot my Bluetooth. So I could put on some. See what I'm saying? It was like, okay, now I'm just like stuck in this situation energetically. I have family members and friends that the moment they even feel the slightest of anxiety and fear, they will pull out their blunts and joints and CBD and smoke it right around you. Or I've seen people pop a pill for their depression right in my face, or say, well, my nerves are getting bad, let me go ahead and take my medication. Don't be ashamed to do that. Don't say, I'll wait till I get home. What image do you have to protect with some random stranger, with these people out on the street? You don't have no image to protect from them. Hi, Halsey. Halsey, I'm going to get you some CBD. You want CBD? Y'all, he's so cute. He look at me right in my face. You want CBD? Halsey, was you looking me right up in my face? Now, I'm going to tell y'all something else that creates anxiety and fear. And some of y'all may not agree, but it do. Going through your day without food. I know y'all say, oh, but it feels good. It only feels good after like hours in. What about the hours that you're pushing through? Nobody has to go through their day without food. That's something that's supposed to have been forced upon you due to a spiritual emergency or something going wrong with the garden or the weather not bringing in the fruit. So really, try to eat through your day. I know y'all heard differently, but eating is actually therapeutic. It's you just gotta be mindful of what you eat. Cracking sunflower seeds is really good for anxiety. It's really good for getting rid of fear and anxiety. You know, crack open sunflower seeds. Get some sunflower seeds and crack about 20 open, and then eat each one by one. It will, I'm telling you no lie, it helps to soothe stress. Ginger, walking around nibbling on a ginger cookie through your day. It also helps with anxiety. It's no different than birds nibbling on seeds through their day. Birds literally eat seeds all day long. And you see them nice and tiny out there. Birds, you don't see them miserable. They flying around, playing, happy, all that, and eating through their day. Maybe you're not meant to go all day without eating. Maybe that's not a part of your ancestral history. Hi, everybody. Here's another thing I found out. Sticking in the energy that's best for you. All right? If you know that you're mostly a feminine person, then you need to stay out of the masculine energy. For me, I don't do pots. If there's a man here, he does the pots and the knives. I don't do knives and I don't do pots because that's masculine. I don't want cuts on me as a female. I don't want to struggle with my small hands with big pots, heavy pots. So each of us have a genetic makeup and a certain amount of elemental energy that we can use in abundance to get through our day. But when we try to use the one that we don't have in abundance to get through our day, it leads to energy stress. Okay? So celebrate your personal abundant elemental energy and the energy that the Creator has chosen for you to bring in abundance in society. That is actually your main job, spiritual job. And I call it a job as far as in society, but it's really how you will save yourself every single day. Okay? That's how every savior in the Bible keeps spiritually helping you. Okay? Now here's something I learned. Another thing, pets. Give more love to your pets. I find that loving your pets through your day is very therapeutic. And they can sense that you need to love somebody. Sometimes anxiety and fear makes you think you're going to fail because you think you're going to not make it. You start thinking negative because you don't have anything that appreciates your love. Pets always appreciate love. They do. Okay? Unless they are abused, then you have to retrain them to trust your love. But once they trust your love, they always appreciate it. So maybe don't stop looking at humans as much for acceptance of your love. Get you a pet. Now, what I find is important to get pets. I'm rubbing Hansi as I talk to you. Hansi is a very affectionate cat. He likes affection. What I find that getting pets, it has to be in alignment with your personality and what is abundant energetically about you. Okay? You can't just get any old pet. You can't go downstairs, bud. You can't go downstairs. I gave you extra treats. You're not going down there. I took you down there. There's nothing down there, Hans. No. You hear him? He tried to open the door. That clack sound was him turning the doorknob. Hansi is such a rebel. He opens doors, lets other cats out. He loves to break the rules. That's another thing. Break the rules. Think about society rules that everybody's following. Say, I'm not going to follow any of it. For this year or the next year, I'm only going to work 3 hours a year and live with my grandma. Maybe I'll surrender my apartment, move in with my sister, even though I can afford my apartment. You know what I find interesting is how people change shop chapters only when they're forced. why can't why can't people change chapters because it's just like nice to try something different? Like I notice when people buy apartments, they say, I needed a bigger apartment, or, my kids needed bigger rooms, and this and that, and this and that, but never because, like, yeah, wanted to try a different apartment. um, like, I'm writing stories and memoirs right now and experimenting with playwriting form. Not because I don't like what I'm writing right now and I don't like poetry, but it's because I just want to try something different. You know? That's it. And I'm writing only certain type of poems right now. I'm not writing any and every kind of poem. I'm sticking to a certain type, conceit poems. I'm really getting into them. But that's breaking the rules because, when you sign on to be a certain type of writer, people expect you to stay that way. People expect you to stay in that genre or only leave it because you're blocked. So break the rules. I broke the rules today. I ate dinner for breakfast. I said, why do I gotta get up and why do I have to make eggs? Why do I have to make oatmeal? Why can't I just eat dinner for breakfast? I know that we eat breakfast for dinner. People eat breakfast for dinner, but why can't we eat dinner for breakfast? So this morning I had a half a cheesesteak hoagie and some lemon soda that I like, a certain kind that I like. Now people say that's crazy, cheesesteak hoagie for breakfast, but I wonder why we're even calling anything breakfast, dinner, or lunch. Why? Why give food a category? Food is food. Like, I always wonder why people call bacon and eggs breakfast. Why can't it just be food? I don't think our ancestors was like, yeah, y'all, come on, this is breakfast. I don't think they were doing that. I think, see what I'm saying? It's like the way we're programmed. And I felt pretty good. I said, woo, I wish I should have been eating cheesesteak hoagies for breakfast. I said, my goodness, this cheesesteak hoagie was so good. I called myself only cutting half of a half and went back and said, nah, I gotta eat the whole half. Y'all, there's a guy on YouTube, Greg Dossett. He said his girlfriend eats pizza all day, so she wakes up and eats pizza. And she looks pretty good, but she's breaking the rules. She's waking up eating pizza. But the funny thing is, if you did that in front of people, people would think that you have insanity. See, we're living in a very cloned, synchronized world, and we don't even know why we're synchronized with these definitions. I had a conversation with someone yesterday, and they said cisgender. What did they say? They said ideology. Gender ideology or something is a made up word or whatever. I said all words is made up. I said you gonna say that gender ideology is a made up phrase, a made up word. I said every single word was made up. Somebody had to think of the word. Words did not just exist in this world. Words came into being because we thought of words. And they didn't comment. They didn't reply because they knew I was right. So I said, you're trying to tell somebody that their belief, that them saying gender genealogy, that the mere fact that they saying ideology, they don't believe in it, that is stupid because the words don't exist. I said, when actually you might as well say no word exists. Every word, because they said it was a made up word. I said, if you say gender and ideology was made up words, then trans and cis is made up too. I shut the whole conversation down. But that's what I mean. Now you see what I'm saying? Like, we're our beliefs is making us follow certain trends and and synchronicities. It's our beliefs are literally setting rules for us. But how do we know that our beliefs aren't exactly beneficial? Maybe they're not that all beneficial. What is the point of having a belief if it's not that beneficial to you? Like, um, having it because you see it serves the whole world, it doesn't mean it serves you. Bacon and eggs may be really beneficial to some of these fitness people to say bacon and eggs, that's a low calorie breakfast. But I'm thinking, okay, they say bacon and eggs and oatmeal. When you do the math, that equals about 600 calories, with the bowl of oatmeal. And whatever drink you're having on the side, that's another 150 calories. That's equivalent to a half a cheesesteak hoagie and a soda. It's the same amount of calories practically. So why do I have to have bacon and eggs? Why can't I have a half a cheesesteak hoagie and a soda for breakfast? I mean, what's the bread on the cheesesteak hoagie is standing in for the oatmeal. Okay, the dressing on the hoagie is the fat that would be in the eggs and the bacon. The steak is the protein source. The soda is giving me sugar. And like Dorian Ryder say, sugar is not bad for you. It's the sugar when you're having it with fat in your coffee at the same time. So I have my soda pop. There it is. There it is. But as I said, if I sat and said, yeah, we're having cheesesteak hoagies and soda for breakfast, I'm sure people would be like, if she gives that to her kids, she's abusing her kids. And I'm like, how is that? Like, how? They're literally having soda at school. They have soda pop machines. They're having soda when they get out of school. Like, I'm trying to understand. The sugar is giving them energy. No, just like that fruit is. Glucose. So what is the problem? They got sugar in their food at school and their lunches. The hospitals give you sugar in some of your food. So what is the problem? But it's all about programming. Deprogram yourself. See how that makes you feel. Say, am I following the rules? Do something different. Like, how a lot of people wake up and they're like, time to clean, time to get the house together, whatever. I don't do that no more. I do nothing. My first hour woke, I do nothing. I am slow. Or I just lay around. Or I just read and I just research and do my little affirmations. Or, I do spiritual thinking. But a lot of people wake up and they're like in the YouTube trending energy. Wake up, go for a long walk, work out, get your 10-minute workout in, this and that. The funny thing about what I realized with me in the last few months is I have not even been working out hard daily, and my body's feeling firmer. How is that possible? Because you cannot outwork a bad diet. If your diet is abundant, then the body will respond. So because my body, my diet works for me, but I'm also going through my day and doing things that works for my spiritual energy, then my body is reshaping itself accordingly. See what I'm saying? Without having to lift crazy weights, none of that. I might do a 10-minute workout only 3 days a week or 4 days a week at the most. And it's never all in one setting. I do 5 minutes in the morning, five at lunch, and five at dinner at the most. I never do more than 30 minutes. Yet, my body's firming up nicely. This tells me that maybe these rules that we have been following, maybe they are embellished. Maybe they are exaggerated. Maybe they were created by people who was attention seeking. People that was in lack mindset. People who was trying to just fit in rather than have peace in mind and body. They were willing to sacrifice their peace in mind and body to fit in with the trend, with the 99% people, fit in with them as soon as possible. Maybe that's why these beliefs, these certain beliefs exist. But what if you don't care? What if you say, I don't care? So why do I have to follow the rules? Why am I following the rules when I don't care? That's deep. If you say, I don't care if anyone likes my body out here, it's my body, I like it. So why are you following the rules? I sound like my brother. My brother Jay, who I talk to. Me and him, we talking on the phone. We saying some real stuff. If you say no one can tell you about your beauty, you know you are attractive and you're beautiful and you know you're good enough, then why follow their rules? Why? Okay, if you say, oh, I'm a 40-year-old, a 50-year-old woman, I can't wear short skirts because society says tasteless and I'm old and I'm busted, so I can't wear that. But then you say in the next breath, nobody can tell me how fine I am. I'm very attractive. I don't care what people think. Then you're a liar. You're still following the rule. You know you want to wear a skirt and you're not wearing it because you said what society said. But then in the next phrase you're saying, no one can tell you how attractive you are. No one can tell you about your sex appeal. Then you're a liar. Okay? I'm just giving an example, y'all. Okay? Woo. So I find that when we're having emotional problems, we need to ask, why are we doing what we're doing? Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Are you doing what you're doing because you don't want to hear nobody's mouth? Okay, if that's the case, then you better be ready to hear their mouth because you can't control anyone. You just can't. You can't even control a baby. You change a baby's diaper, give a baby a bottle, everything. If the baby feel like crying, the baby gonna cry. Okay, so take everybody out the story of what they think. Just say, I'm doing this for another reason. I'm getting order to my table because it feels good. I like to see my table clear. I don't like to see so much stuff on the table. I'm not clearing my table because society say you need to have a clear table, or you're messy, or because my family won't say something, or because I'm gonna look like a pack rat. Who cares about any of that? And you can't lie to your consciousness. You can lie and say that, for example, you're clearing your table because you just, like a clear table. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, your subconsciousness, and you're going to tell your consciousness that's a lie. I know the real reason why she's doing that. So you see what I'm saying? So sometimes your body just needs a reprogramming of the why. That's all. Reprogramming Why are you doing it? It has to be for, and I keep telling people, emotional fulfillment. If you're in a relationship, that's the only reason. Not because you're scared you're not going to get somebody else, or you're scared you're not going to make it alone, or you're scared that you're not, going to keep up images. It has to be, it gives me emotional fulfillment. And if it's not, if it's a roller coaster of emotions where it's like, yeah, I do have it, and then I don't have, you still don't have emotional fulfillment. Okay, emotional fulfillment should not be on shaky ground. So it should be because you have emotional fulfillment, period. Period. And we know that tender love and care and respect is required for emotional fulfillment. Two people can be broke living under a bridge and have emotional fulfillment if there is tender love and care and respect and honor. I'll be having some deep conversations sometime on this channel, y'all. What is the point of having everything and you have no emotional fulfillment? Prolific creative artists, we know this. People who are good at writing, they're not good at writing because they wanted to be great at it. They became good at it because they was obsessed with the emotional fulfillment they were getting when they did do good in it. It's no different than full body orgasm, all through from head to toe. That I did okay in it. It showed me. I showed myself what I could do when I did this. I showed myself what I was capable of, with skills I had. I reminded myself when I did it. That gave me emotional fulfillment. But it's never, with great artists or writers, it's never because I want to become a master in it. It's because each time I do it and use a skill that I have or a new skill, it is the emotional fulfillment that it gives me. I'm chasing the emotional fulfillment. I'm not chasing evidence of my mastery in it. I'm not chasing compliments from other people. This is why with people who chase emotional fulfillment with their art, a lot of times they end up having a whole lot of art they never published because it was never created for attention seeking. Hi everybody. Okay, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Let me wipe off this stove a little bit here. See, at this time, most people are hiking it out. They're hiking it out right now. There's people working out, macking those hills, going hard on the trads. But the spiritual care can happen in many ways. Okay? I can get the same clearing of my energy, cleaning, and picking up little things, okay, purging, and just being mindful of my diet, of my food intake. I can get the same. And then I still got enough energy to go on a 20-minute walk. So I can get my walk in and my cleaning in. I don't have to push through at all because I didn't bust it out in the trash. I didn't go real hard till I collapse like people are doing. See, I want to get all my things done Doesn't matter how long I can do them. I just want to be able to do them daily. I want to clean daily, write daily, walk daily, work out daily. And I want to do it without ever pushing through, without ever having to motivate myself. I don't want to have to need a motivational coach. I don't want to have to pace back and forth and say, you can do it, you can get this done. I don't want to be in that energy. So it's not about how much I do. It's about how the quality of what I did. This is why I am no longer doing 4-hour writing workshops. I'm done. I got my 1 hour writing in. I'm good. That's it. I don't need to do no more. I don't need to do no more. Okay, 90% of the dishes is done today. Done. That's it. So there's a spoon or knife in here, and I'm not any worse off. I'm not. Oh, you're not getting nothing else. Okay, bye. Okay. Telling you no lie. I know somebody in my family right now. They're losing weight and getting in shape so easy. I'm watching it happen before my eyes. And I notice that they don't do anything for long. They don't do anything for long. Like they'll vacuum, cut the grass. That's it. But they won't vacuum, cut the grass, full house cleaning. They're not like working out for 2 hours. They're not. And at first I thought, wow, they're kind of lazy. But then I realized they're not lazy. They're managing their energy. They're avoiding collapsing. They don't want to collapse. And they were giving me a lesson that I need to know. I need to learn how to just be. I need to have some time in my day where I'm just being. That's why I don't like to sit. Really, the work we do is supposed to be. The Creator wants us to work with other people. Stephen King has an editor. All this like working solo stuff. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, that can make your energy collapse too. Like, work is supposed to be a team thing. So that's why I stopped like just sitting on YouTube talking on videos. Now y'all see I do cleaning while I'm talking. Because my time is too precious to just be, I'm just sitting there staring at the screen talking, and then I'm scheduling cleaning. When I could talk and clean, like the servants of the 1800s used to do. They was in the kitchen cooking and talking. Some scripts weren't supposed to be changed. Now some of y'all who are people that prefer to listen more, then you clean and listen to somebody. But what I find that people are trying to get work done and listening to Talk City. Videos that make you afraid of the world and live in paranoia and fear mongering. Those videos you should not be listening to while you're doing work. Some people will turn on a movie while they're doing work. There's nothing wrong with that. In the old days they had TV on while they were working. But here's the problem with that. The movie should be related to who you are. Okay? They should be really about what you enjoy, not movies that are supposed to just motivate you. Not just for motivational movies, but pure entertainment. I feel like too many of us are picking stuff out, even picking movies out that will help us get through or for breakthroughs. Why do we got to do that? Why can't we just watch a movie for pure entertainment? Why can't we watch the movies while we clean? Why do we got to listen to Drew Rules while we clean? Like, why do we got to listen to self-help books and self-help audios while we clean? Like, why do we got to be in self-help school all day long? Why can't we have that on a schedule? You know? Like, self-help is like therapy. Who wants to be in their therapist's office 8-9 hours a day? No one wants to be on the couch 8-9 hours a day. So, my point is, I think when we're listening, when we're doing self-help, it needs to be a scheduled thing. Hi, everybody. I'm talking about when people are listening to stuff. I really got to find out. I'm going to have to Google it. I just can't find what she used. I need to deep clean. I want to do a full deep cleaning of my icebox, but I don't know what my daughter used when she did it. So I'm going to just have to find something in the store today. And I also find that, like, if something in your life is bothering you and you're just, sick of dealing with it, the more you don't deal with it, it gives you anxiety. You might as well deal with it just so you can get over the anxiety. Like, trying to run from it and deny it, that's not going to work for so long. And also I found out some days the best you can do is to just clean. That's it. Some days you create very little, you learn very little, and all you do is just purge. Nothing else. Or you just watch some movies. I think we're too caught up in, like, oh, I have to have the usual evidence that my day was productive. And it means that I had to have did some what society would tell me is work. But really, y'all, sometimes the work that's important is just the work you're just doing for you. And that could just be, I'm just clearing out some energy. That's it. All I'm focusing on is purging and cleaning to clear out some energy. I'm not, something is being created in my metaphysical space. Whenever I purge and I appreciate purging, something is already, some sort of gift is being delivered to me. We're living in a world that literally so many people are running from purging. They're running from it. They're like, I don't want to deal with all this in here. But it's like, you have extra money. You're buying self-help books. You're buying alcohol and prostitutes. Why don't you buy people to purge? Pay people to purge for you. And you just stand in a room and enjoy the energy purging. Like, why not just have somebody do it for you? Most people are blocked is because they're not purging. I'll tell you no lie, but a lot of people can't see that's the reason. Because some people just don't believe in the metaphysical world. They don't believe it until they see enough breakthroughs in their life. They have to be shown plenty of breakthroughs after they do it. But they don't know that they're never going to see those breakthroughs until they do it. So, like, my one family member, they weren't into purging. They kept on buying stuff for the house and buying stuff and buying stuff. And then because I was following them, I started doing it. But then when I started, like, purging and they started seeing I was having health breakthroughs and more grounded than them, I guess they realized, like, Maybe they can have the same if they did. So now, every weekend, they purge. They be running the trash out. They come, before they even come in the house, they're already like trying to see if there's trash to take out. They don't even want to speak to nobody until they then took out the trash or purged. But I had set an example. See what I'm saying? That's another thing. Sometimes you got to stop signing up to help and just let people hear your story and watch you. Sometimes you signing up to help is actually wasting your energy. We was meant to tell stories. We was meant to share about our day and that be the lesson. You know? But now people act like they don't even have time for your story. You go share a story, oh, I gotta go, blah, 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 blah. It's like, you know, not everybody wants to be in full-fledged teacher energy. Like, I regret trying to write, or even writing recently, thick books. I'm like, no, see? No, there was other stuff I had to write. There was other stuff I wanted to work on. So I should have just been publishing this stuff in pieces. You know what's weird? That we got these books out here, yet there was no books during Egyptian time. There was like that one book, the Book of the Dead or something. But originally it wasn't in a book. It was like individual scriptures. I really think that we have to start working in scripts. Maybe we can see our life in little scenes and know them with and then realizing when we're stretching on a scene too long. Like yeah. Hi, Bubba. Yeah, you're not going downstairs. Okay, y'all. Bye, everybody. If y'all enjoyed this video, feel free to let me know. I'm gonna do a whole video talking about living life in scripts. Okay, knowing when to exit a scene, like, you know what I mean. Like, for example, I've been talking for 1 hour and 27 minutes. I didn't got done with the cleaning, so it's time for me to exit the scene. Some people, they'll keep on going, even though they're past the performance of the scene. You know what I'm saying? They try to find a way to keep something going when it has expired. So I'm learning about living life in scripts. Poet Amy Lau said that's how you create. That's how writing is supposed to be. She was for the LGBT community. If you're LGBTQ watching this, Poet Amy Lau was LGBTQ. And Gertrude Stein. But, you know, at that time, they had to be more in the closet. But Poet Amy Lau talks about scripting. You know, scripting and writing. Okay? So it's like, unless I have anything to clean in this video, then this scene has expired. That's the same thing when you like see somebody on a date. You have no more to talk about, but trying to dig up something to talk about is like, okay, you're losing your the audience. Your both of y'all ain't really trying to in an audience of each other no more. Y'all ain't feeling it, but y'all faking like y'all are. Okay, here we go. I wanted to do that teapot. Okay, bye everybody. I'll see y'all later. If y'all like to donate to the channel, you can donate to my Cash App at $Coach V Hunter. Thank you, Anita, for the gift card. I can't wait to get me some V8 juice, some seeds, and some kale chips. That's what I'm gonna get me. I want to eat me some kale chips between meals. They low in calorie and they're good, and you know they give you energy. especially since they're real good. I think for uh, in the leafy family, magnesium, I would think, or energy. Okay, bye everybody. I'll see y'all later.